You're about to hear from Jordan Burke, the founder and CEO of Tomorrow. Jordan is going to be interviewed by Ben Miller, VP of Original Content and Strategy at Shoptalk.
Jordan Burke, welcome to Shoptalk
Thank you.
TV. Jordan, please, look, for those people watching who might not be as familiar with you or what your company does, give us a quick introduction to you and to Tomorrow.
Great. So, Ben, thank you. Jordan Burke from Tomorrow. Tomorrow's a digital retail consulting firm. We work with some of the world's leading retailers on driving digital growth and profitability. I founded Tomorrow 6 years ago after 15 years with Walmart, where I led e-commerce and all things digital for Walmart in China and oversaw the global omni-channel forum at Walmart, where all countries reported in on our priorities. And so we are at the thick of helping retailers transform successfully to be great at winning in digital and growing in those channels and profiting from those channels better than their peers. And we love being here. This is the center of that conversation.
Amazing. So look, it's lunchtime on day 3 now.
Yes.
While we're talking, you were just saying to me you've had a chance to reflect a little bit over the last couple of days. What have been the big things for you that have stood out so far in this shop talk?
Yeah, I think the moment we're in is special. There has been a cleanup in the retail industry, I would argue, over the last couple of years. A lot of excess capacity has been taken out of retail.
Yeah.
The last couple of years were very tough. I remember the inflation shop talk last year.
Yeah.
And how difficult it was. And if you look at the number of retailers that have now slimmed down, Walgreens being sold, Family Dollar yesterday, the JCPenney combination with multiple other brands, so much retail capacity is being reduced that I think we're in an exciting reset moment. And so there is a back to basics theme this week, as you know, but there's also how do I lean in and accelerate growth?
Yes, absolutely.
On the flip side, we do see the retail media reckoning finally here, that the number of retail media networks that have arrived without differentiation, without the ability to be tier one media companies, means that we think we're going to see a cleanup of that segment. But what's challenging is retailers need retail media going forward, not just to win increased alternative income, but to control and maintain their shopper marketing budgets that they're already getting. Yeah. So it's a tough one for retailers who are non-differentiated. They can't walk away from it, but they need to figure out what is going to be their way to win in a market that's oversaturated.
So that's the retail media reckoning. So look, great phrase. I'd love to just explore that a bit more. Yeah. So what do you think, therefore, are the essential ingredients for a successful retail media proposition?
So the ingredients are fairly straightforward. There's 5 of them. You need great ad products. You need reach. Yep. You need the ability to attribute and report. You need a sales and go-to-market model where you can serve your advertisers, and you need the data underpinning that to be able to create all of this excitement and this attribution. Those 5 factors remain important, but what retailers don't realize is that the media business innovates, Ben, at 3x the speed of retail.
Right.
This industry moves faster, and so in order to keep up, you've got to constantly be upgrading on all 5 of those. And the tier 1 players are the ones setting the pace. And if you're a tier 2 or below, what we're seeing is it's very difficult to keep up, and it's getting dangerous.
Okay, so let's for a moment, let's take Amazon, 75% of the global retail media market out. Let's take Walmart out as well.
Okay.
For the rest of their industry, how would you say the progress is going on building the muscles needed to deliver against those 5 capabilities?
I'd say that you've got 2 or 3 remaining tier 1 retailers, excluding the 2 that you've mentioned, that are able to invest and have the support from the board and the company to be able to keep up.
Okay.
I think we'd put Roundel in that camp right now. We'd put KPM in that camp right now. Okay. We actually think here near the new market stage that Best Buy may have reached that tier 1 this week with the new talent they've brought in. Absolutely. And the way they're investing in that business.
And the talent they've brought in, to be clear, is media talent, not retail talent.
It is time for retail media networks to truly be in the media business. Exactly. That talent that she possesses is going to change the profile of that business to make them a true media company. Yeah. The problem, if you're a tier 2, is you may have been spoiled into thinking that this is a business that will profit from year one and will be printing money at high margin rates for years to come. You've got to be ready to invest in upgrading your capabilities to be in that tier one. And if you're not, if you're just milking your media business, very dangerous place to be in.
So Jordan, I could sit and talk retail media all day, but we've only got 10 minutes. And on Tuesday, day one of the show, you were part of an incredible session that was part of the opening of the show. We had fun setting you a challenge, which was give us some predictions of what retail industry could look like in 5 years' time. 5 predictions for 2030. The feedback that we've received from your presentation has been incredible. I've seen the amount of requests for the slides you've had on LinkedIn. I'm sure anybody watching could reach out to you on LinkedIn if they want a copy of the presentation. But for the remaining time we've got, talk us through your big 5 predictions, Jordan.
One of the hardest assignments we've had, Ben, to really thoughtfully predict 5 years out what does retail look like. And where we landed is we really believe there are 5 transformative shifts that 2030's leading retailers will all have in common. In other words, to be on that keynote stage here 5 years from now, there will be 5 things you will have done.
Okay, go on.
First, you'll have ended the anonymous relationship that you have with many customers as a retailer. Today, 40% of transactions in the United States are anonymous at retail. That means no identity of the customer, and the retailer has no way to know that customer and grow that customer. Okay. So retailers that end that analog relationship and go completely known is shift number 1.
Okay. How do you do that in a physical store setting? So great, you kind of log on online, fine. But 89% of retail is still physical. How do you remove that anonymity?
All that analog is in the physical environment, and so the hardest thing is how do you fix that? The first and most important step is the CEO of the organization realizes that if I don't know every customer inside my store, there is no way that I'm going to be able to compete getting into the next decade of retail. That is all about data centricity. And so from the top mission that we will end this analog relationship and we will know every customer. Second, the company determines that we will give customers more value than it's worth to get them to identify, to sign in when they enter the store, because it's so much easier to be a customer. It's so much more rewarding to be that customer. It's so much more fun to be that customer. Look at the Sam's Club mobile checkout experience where 50% are self-identifying the moment they walk in. Great example. We've seen the best retailers in the world be able to get to 90-95% already. And so it is doable. It is hard, but that's where leaders lead.
But the value proposition has to be strong enough.
It does.
Number 2. What's your number 2 prediction?
Our number 2 was that while automation and agents are number 3 and 4, number 2 is about the humanness of retail in 2030 that comes through in storytelling. And I'm speaking to one of the great storytellers in our industry when I say that content is actually going to be key to cutting through in 2030. Our consumers as retailers will be more connected to content than they've ever been, and retailers will need to create what we call storytelling factories. They will basically take their marketing function and they will transform them to be constant storytelling producing teams. Finding angles, finding reasons to give influencers a purpose to talk about them.
And I think that's fast. So forget the flattery, but the point around influencers. If we think about some of the amazing brands in our industry have grown up off the art of storytelling. But they've told those stories over beautifully produced TV adverts. How well do you think the retail industry understands the mediums by which it needs to tell stories these days?
Most don't. Why? Because the retail business model hasn't been best suited for the current era of content. The best users of the current era of content are brands. Brands have understood that they need to engage and pay influencer communities to be able to amplify their messaging, and retailer margins have historically not allowed that. And so we do not see retailers in the class of best users of this so far, with one exception. We believe Sephora has set the pace in
Yeah.
being able to structure its marketing strategy and margin that marketing strategy to where influencers can play a huge role. And their Beauty Insider platform is the way that happens. And so we think you look to Sephora to say, how have you gotten customers to become influencers, and how do you reward them in a way that's exciting? We think more of that's coming.
Well, I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, we've seen Best Buy ramp up its influencer program. We've seen Dick's Sporting Goods
100%.
ramp up its influencer. The direction of travel is clear. So, number 3, you mentioned you were going to talk about agents. Give me number 3.
We call number 3 A to C commerce. We believe that by 2030,
so A to C, agent to
consumer.
Okay.
We already see it. So stepping into the current day, last Christmas, 2024, there was a 1,300% increase in traffic to e-commerce sites from agents. GPT, Claude. And this reminds us, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon. Why? Because he saw a 1,300% increase in internet traffic in 1995.
Right.
So we are seeing that Bezos moment, where that 1,300%, where did that come from traffic, is already showing that consumers are turning to agents to navigate and curate their consumption in ways that we've never seen before. And so by 2030, leading retailers will have figured out, how do I serve that agent who's acting on behalf of a consumer? How do I ensure that I show up in the agent's recommendations? How do I integrate so the agent can shop via me? How do I deploy agents to be able to interact with them? We call that A to A e-commerce.
Right. Absolutely.
And so A to C is where we think 10% of retail will be by 2030, and the leaders will own it if nothing changes.
So that's the consumer facing.
Yeah.
Your fourth one, if I recall, was more about the back office.
It was. The leading retailers will also have figured out how to deploy agents internally to unlock an era of productivity like none we've ever seen. We think that employment in retail probably goes up 5x just with no more humans, because agents will enable a hands-off-the-wheel way of working in many of the core retail functions that'll make humans 5x more productive. We're already seeing at Amazon, category management is 90% powered by agents. And those category teams get to focus on strategy and how to maximize profit. Wally at Walmart gives buyers an hour and a half back every day. We used to spend, I was a buyer at Walmart, going in and querying Retail Link, and only the best queryers could actually know their business. Now it's conversational. That agent deployment is going to make working in retail more fun than it's ever been, and make all of those folks in retail more productive, more creative. It's an incredible renaissance that it will unlock.
And look, we started that conversation to talk about retail media. I think retail media is there in your 5th prediction as well.
It is. It is. Well, look, there is no doubt the growth of retail media will have plateaued within the next 2 to 3 years. Retail media businesses will be at single-digit growth by then, and they will be looking for what is that next big media or monetization unlock. We think it's going to be the monetization of models. Retailers are going to be taking how they've deployed AI in their business and be able to commercialize that to provide other retailers with those capabilities, or other brands with those capabilities. So it'll be from media to models. So winning on the first 4 in many ways is what unlocks your ability to monetize in the future.
I got it. John, to close us out, I'll get you out of here. If anybody wants to understand more, get in touch, how can they reach you?
So tomorrowretail.com is our site. Tomorrow is the world's preeminent voice on what is going to drive digital retail going forward, and we love to talk about that. So any forum where folks want to have a discussion about the 5 transformational factors, we'd love to be there. We'd love to debate it if people have other perspectives. And we just love to be able to contribute to the community like you do and help us move forward.
John, thank you so much for joining us on Shoptalk TV today.
Thank you. Nice work. This is great.